Now when we are dealing with objects, now we actually introduce a new data type. Then some trivial things that we do with the other data types might be a bit challenging for now. What do I mean by this? Let me show you then as an example. In a code, for instance, let me zoom in a bit, and I will now delete this because this code is not working anymore, so I don't want to get an error. So if I have some data, integer data, and I just want to make a copy of it, I can just say this one, and then it will create a copy of that variable, right? But in an object case, like here we have the student object, okay? We had created before, we have this student object and so on. So the question is, how can so if I have the student class, student object, okay? And then I want to take a copy of that one. So to understand it better, I would like to print, I would like to set some of its values, okay? So I can say s.name is equal to, I don't know, any name is fine. Actually one attribute would be fine. And then the thing is, okay, how can I take its attribute, copy of it? Do you have an idea? If I just say student1, s1 is equal to s, okay? Then, now did I take a copy of those two cases? Now this is called actually shallow copy. What does it mean is, like if I try to print the name of s1, okay? Let's run that code. I will get this name Ali, okay? So as expected. But now when I go and change, okay, s1.name, I would like to change it, okay? I would like to make it, let's say, Ahmed, okay? Then, if I print name of s, the first one, what will be the output, do you think? Ali or Ahmed. So we got two different answers. And the answer is Ahmed. So now, what happened here is kind of an interesting because I didn't change the name of S. I changed the name of S1. But then when I printed the name S, somehow it is affected. So it was Ali, the name of S. Then I made a copy of it with S1. Then I changed the value of S1, not S. But then the value of S is affected. So actually I couldn't make a separate independent copy of these two objects. This is called shallow copy. Why is this happening? Well, basically, when I create this object, Java gives me a location in the memory. And I say, okay, you can keep this S object here at this part. And then when I say this, student s1 is equal to s, it doesn't give me another space in the location in the memory. It shows me the same memory location. So because of this, whatever change I do in that location will also affect all the objects that are referring to that same location. So actually, I couldn't create a clone of it. I couldn't create a copy of it. I just created another data variable that refers to the same memory location. So now, because of this, when we are dealing with data, actually things becomes a little bit more complicated than we expect. So the question is now, how can I create a new student, a new object that are really different? Like when I say different, both have different memory locations so that when I do a change in one of them, it won't affect the other one. So for those cases, like there are multiple ways to do it. But one of them is you can create, let me look at this. Let's inspect first our student class again. As you can see that now, we have this constructor here in which we set its name and GPA here. So what I can do is, I'll go back to my code, and instead of doing this way, okay, if I say new student, okay, and then for its name I will use again S name, which is, so I will get the S name here, and also I'll use this SGPA, okay. I'm getting an error, probably this is not public, maybe, I don't know, let's look at it. Yeah, we made it private. Okay, so for now let's make it public, okay, just to gain some time. So now what will happen is, let's see, so I created it in this way. The previous version was, I'll just put it here as a comment so that we will see it. Instead of writing it in this way, now I'm creating it in this way. And then I'll print its name, and I will change my second student's name to Ahmed, and I will print the name of the first student again. So when I do it, now I got this again, Ali. So not Ahmed. What happened here is now it is not affected. Now, even though I change name to S1's name to Ahmed, S name is still Ali. It's not affected. So now what it means is now I could really take a clone of it, two separate objects. So the main rule here is that if you want to have a different object, you should definitely use this new command. Because whenever you use a new command, it gives you a new memory location. And then we are filling that location with the values that we got from this first student, so that when we end up here, what we have is, we have two separate objects, both have the same values. So this is called deep copy, a real copy actually, in which they have the same values, but they are different objects. Any questions so far? This is, by the way, one of the main things that people confuse. So it's really important. If you understand this part, it's really important. Yes, please.
Is that more like clone keyword, copy keyword?
We didn't come to that part, but yes, there is a clone function that is inherited from the object class that is normally, we need to inherit it. Currently, what we did is, we just defined a constructor to do that. All right. And for that one, another way is you can write a method to do this copy operation, because this is not a very handy way to define an object in which you specifically get all the attributes by this way. So one of the ways is called copy constructor. What it is, again, I'll go to my student class. So instead of having this kind of a class, you can create one more constructor in which you will take another student object, okay? Then you will basically say, okay, other .name will be this, other GPA will be this. So this is called copy constructor. So which means it is just used to create columns, copies of an object, of another object. So when I go back to my code here again, so this is one way. Also now, by using the copy constructor, I can also say now new student and S. That will do the same thing, but just in a more easier to write, in a less messy code to do this copy operation. Sure. So what I did is, as a parameter, I give another student object, and then when I'm trying to initialize the data, I'm basically initializing it with the values of the student object that I put it as I give it as a parameter.
What's the base of other variable? We define it here. We assign it here.
We are not assigned here, we are assuming that now I'm just defining like whatever student is given as a parameter, I will initialize these name and GPA based on its values. So then I use it here. Like I give now this already defined as well as student as a parameter, so that it fills the attributes of S1 with the attribute values of student S.
It will return the all values.
It will. This is a constructor method, so it returns a student class, student instance that has the values of this S object. Did I answer your question? I'm not sure.
Yes, and methods also.
Yeah, this is a pure student object. It has all the methods, everything. I'm just assigning the attribute names, attribute values. All right, and well, you can also like for this copy function, you can also write a clone function, in which for an object you can define a clone object, in which basically you define a new student object with its values and then return it, so that it will basically. So what we are doing here is, let me also do it here. So this is, I can go to the student class, and in that one, let me just write it right after this part. Public. Now it will return a student object. Its name will be clone, and what I want it to return is a new student object, so that it will be, again, I'm using this new function, so it will give me a different memory location. It will be a separate object, and its values will be this object's name and this object's GPA. And here again, what I did here is actually I used this constructor that takes these two values, and I created a separate student object that has the same values with this object, and I'm just returning it. Now, how I can use it is, again, I'll just use it here one more time. I will make this again commented out, and I can also now do it in this way, s.clone. So that would be another way of creating an object.
Don't you have to make it static?
No, it should not be static, because the static method belongs to the concept of the student. But here what I'm trying to do is take a clone of a very specific student object. Like I have an Ahmed as a student, I want to take a clone of it, or maybe I can use it for another one. So this method should not be static.
Because you already made the S object.
Yes, I want to use it for each instance separately. Okay, it's 5:50. I think I should stop here.